your pool tight and tense, this is the tournament for you.
He's missed it by a mile. We are seeing all kinds of mistakes when the pressure is on.
The quarterfinals beckon. There's the 9 going in. Bingo.
This is turning into a classic.
You cannot write that script. What a comeback.
3 quarterfinals down, 1 to go in the Morningside Arena. Here's a reminder of the story so far.
Nine racks to 2.
3 matches concluded with one semi-final lineup complete. The Dutch and the Filipinos making the most of the same winning margin. The Netherlands winning 9-5 against China. The Philippines beating Canada by the same scoreline. Austria dominated in their game with Greece and will play the winners of our last remaining quarter-final, Spain against the hosts, Great Britain A. The opening 2 racks saw these two keep pace with each other, but the third saw Great Britain break. With little on offer, safety play ensued, but a mistake on the 2 ball seemed to give Spain an opportunity. But they fluffed their lines on the 6, and Great Britain A stepped in to claim the rack. In the next rack, a dry break saw a tactical exchange between these two, with Spain eventually coming out on top to level the score. This is now the 5th. Commentary from Phil Yates and Jeremy Jones.
Rack number 5.
I would have to say probably position play has been the
breaking.
mistake the most. We've seen some misses, that's for sure. But okay, Jason changing a little bit here. All right, he kind of going to the U.S. Open break. I think the cue ball is going to stand up, but not much of an offensive play on the 2. And just at first glance, feel not an easy safety either. I don't think he can easily get the 2 by the 6. Can he cut the 2 super thin, just down in between the 4-6, and let the cue ball come over on the other side of the table behind the 7, 8, 9? I think that's okay. I don't think the side pocket scratch is there if he's cutting it that thin. Could be wrong. Oh, and that's a clever shot. Now, he may leave a little gap, but still, it was a pretty clever shot. And he did leave a gap, that's for sure. But I think that's a more settled Chris Melling. He made a nice stroke on that, a nice commitment to the shot. Just so happened the 2 ball and the cue ball, they ran a good 5 feet apiece and just fell right in between the 8 and 9. Okay, and this is another big mistake. Man, you have to really look what the premium is, meaning the center of the end rail was the premium, gave you all the room for error, and now they've overrun it again.
Yes, with those 4 balls to hide behind, the 4, the 9, the 7 and the 8. That was a massive zone in which to drop. Massive.
Extension, please.
No excuse for that whatsoever.
And I think he's left Jason, if he goes firm, this is a natural scratch in the opposite corner, so he's going to elevate to try and avoid the scratch. Good thing about this, you might drop underneath the 3 and not have position, but if you miss, good chance of safety.
Scrappy right now. A match that is yet to take off. The touch paper has not been lit.
Well, you can see there on the replay, it wasn't hit horribly. Caught both the points on the upper left-hand corner.
Extension, please.
Now this is a touchy one. He could kind of roll through on the 2 and go right into the 7 with the cue ball. If you're confident with that type of shot, and use the 8 as some type of snooker. Oh, he's elevating. So he's banking the 2 around. He's trying to draw the cue ball up behind them balls. He's trying to bank the 2 by the 3. So nice shot. Oh, wow. And this is really cut off Great Britain.
Ironic, really, because he had a much easier chance to lay a snooker in the 3rd rack. Didn't manage it. Left the 6 ball on, and from there, Great Britain won the rack to lead 2-1. That was perfectly played.
Foul, no rail.
Well, that was a much more difficult safety. Ruiz laid down. He missed an easy one.
Start the clock, please.
On the 6 ball earlier, and that kind of happens in sport, period. It's the easy ones that get away from you. The ones that are more difficult kind of grab your attention a bit more, and you seem to focus.
Yes, now you might be wondering, why was that a foul? Well, he did hit the 2, yes, fortuitously, but there was no rail made contact with after the hit, and so consequently it is ball in hand anyway.
Okay, so he's left him plenty of angle here above the 3. That's the wrapped upper left-hand corner, coming 2 cushions out. Trying to float just past the 6 ball for position on the 4 in the lower left. Oh, if he rubs the 6, he might get snookered. Okay, nice. Nice shot. And I think he's falling a little funny here. Yeah. Can't quite punch above. He can for a little, take a little distance on the 5, which is what I recommend. He's going forward? No, he's going to punch this ball. Okay. Threading the needle there.
That was a wobbler. He looks to be wound up very tightly. Sanchez Ruiz.
A bit light there with the cue ball as well. He could have really used another 4 or 5 inches. Alcaide, he should handle this.
One word, terrible. Terrible shot.
And that's 2 8-balls he's missed early in this match, and you saw a little flinch. Little flinch right there, a little shake. So Great Britain really all 3 wins early in this match from some gifts from the Spaniards.
You can't keep doing that and hope to get away with it on a long-term basis. David Alcaide missed the 8 ball. He would never miss in a month of Sundays if not under a mountain of pressure. And so Great Britain lead by 3 racks to 2.
Rack number 6. The current score is 3-2 in favor of Great Britain. Spain is breaking.
That was a pretty decisive break, though.
Yeah, and I thought the pool gods were going to get him there. Watch this little kiss he takes. It looks like it's going in the corner. It looks like it's still going in the corner, and then the 8 comes away, and a nice little bump. So a decision here. You'll notice the 3 doesn't pass the 6. It's not a hard combination, but it's not the easiest to hold position for, and it's not the easiest to get it on the other side of the 3 and without being pretty thin on the 3. I think that's the route he'll go. So he'll put a little bit of right side on this, a little spin, probably go in. Oh, he whacked it. I don't understand. He must have been trying to go into the 9 with the cue ball. But even if you're still not going to hit it at that speed, he's got a couple safeties here. He's going to use the 7-9 one way or another, whether he floats the 3 past the 7-9 and cue ball over near the 6, or if he just comes to the other side with the cue ball. Oh, is that enough? Is that enough? I don't know. It's got him, that's for sure, but it's probably not as much as he wanted. Now Great Britain will have a choice as far as this jump shot.
Extension, please.
Taking the extension because he had to walk back for the jump cue.
You'll see that by Jason sometimes. It's almost like he's trying to calm himself a little bit and slow the Great Britain team down. He does it in singles play as well.
Nailed it, Jeremy. Nailed it.
Yeah, and again, Alcaide could have used a lot more with the 3 ball up. Table probably past the side. Now the 7-9, they have to look. I believe, does it play in the side? I think it does. If not, he may look to break it out right here. There's a couple different ways too. He doesn't have to draw into it, I don't believe. I think he could come to the rail and back up, but oh no. And a bit fortunate there, missing that ball and not breaking out the 7-9, and I think snookering Spain.
Middle pocket potting was the bane of Chris Melling's life in the previous round.
Well, just kind of drove that one into the face of the pocket. At a lighter speed, it would have gone, but with that much force. Okay, pretty nice there. Problem with this is you should be up behind the 8 after this shot's over with. I think, anyways. Now, the key to this shot on this slick table is don't try to get all the way up underneath the 8. A foot back of it, 10 inches back of it, that's fine. A lot of people try to get all the way up underneath it, and you let the cue ball leak 2 rails. Very nice.
Excellent, just jumping over the corner of the 8. in without touching the sides.
Well, not a very convincing stroke there, Phil. Not by any means. It almost looked like he was steering that one in. Really wanted to get above the 8 to make it easy to get back on this 9, and now sitting right on a funny spot. He's going to have to draw this. I think going forward is taking a big chance at missing this 8 ball.
Well, he got plenty of shoulder into that, but it went into the pocket cleanly, in fairness to him. David Alcaide has missed a couple of 8 balls already. Surely not the 9 as well. Surely.
Well, if he dead rolls it, if he kind of babies it again, this ball could grab a little bit and go into the bottom rail. Needs to put a little speed.
Well done. It's all tied up again. Spain 3, Great Britain 3. Neither team demonstrating any fluency or indeed authority.
Welcome back to the last quarter-final here at the World Cup of Pool. All level before the break, then the hosts ran out the 7th rack to take the lead. In the 8th, Spain opted for safety play after the break. Great Britain looked to be on for another rack, but a rare mistake from Jason Shaw saw Spain return to the table and level the match. But Britain weren't to be denied and took the 9th. This is now the 10th.
He won the World Masters in March in Gibraltar, did David Alcaide, in front of so many friends and supporters. Tonight it's a very different kettle of fish. The vast majority of the support is for the opposition, as you might expect for GB.
And Spain has continually got a lot of clusters around the spot, but this cluster of 4 might be okay with the 4-9 combination possibly. They have a nice starter on the 1. It's a little thin into the side, but something that Ruiz should be able to handle. He'd like to hit it with a high ball and go around the 5 like 3 rails for the 2 and possibly the same pocket. I think the 4-9 is land very makeable. No, he doesn't want to bump this forward. That's a big mistake. Oh my goodness. Big mistake there.
And now the cluster really is a cluster.
And you could tell right when he hit it that David Alcaide was asking for the cue ball to slow down. So now it's going to most likely be some type of safety off the 4 after making the 2. Okay, so that tells me he's going to chip the 4, go to the rail, and land behind the 7. But the thing is, he has to hit it somewhat thick to go to the rail. He can't hit it uber thin and get to the rail and up behind the 7. So when he hits it a little thick, that's going to open up the 6 and 8. You can see there's an angle on the 6 hitting the 8. Those will spread. So if he plays that shot, he's really got to bury the cue ball.
Extension, please.
So really not the best places. He should have got much thinner on this, meaning the cue ball should have been a little bit more towards where he's standing. And is he going to kiss the 8? Is he going to kiss the 8 right here? Okay, so pretty good. I'm not sure I would look at the jump cue here. There's a long rail kick that these players, that when you're sitting right down the line, you should hit the 4 off the long rail. And you can see all this congestion on the bottom rail here. A lot of opportunity to get a safety out of it. Where the jump shot's a little bit more me or you, win or lose. I really don't. Not in love with the jump shot here, and it's so close. It's not easy. Wow.
Foul. Table scratch.
Oh. The air sucked out of this room. It was a cracking pot on the 4 to the middle. The only problem was into the other middle pocket went the cue ball. Great Britain now guilty of 4 fouls in this match. 0 for Spain. And I think that's why they're keeping in touch.
So a bit of wind knocked out of the sails by that brutal scratch off one heck of a jump shot on the 4 by Jason. Now Spain lined up to tie the match again at 5. Is he really going to play short position? The 7-8 combination is really, really easy. I mean, don't get me wrong. No one likes shooting combinations, but got to have good cue ball control here. Nicely done.
Great Britain can't shake off the Spanish. Never more than 1 rack in this. Now, it's all level.
Rack number 11. We are all tied at 5-5. Great Britain is breaking.
Chris Melling is breaking. In goes the 2. Could have been worse, I suppose. Could have been worse.
Yeah, and this is a tempting cross-side bank with the 3 so near, but a pretty easy safety. But we've seen a lot of players jump out of the safeties, kick out of the safeties. So this is one he's going to have to think about here, because you know the great players, they always want to attack.
Flirted with the scratch again. That would have been too much to take. First a jump shot in off, and that could have been a banking off.
Okay, well, I'm not sure what the angle offers on the 3, but it must have enough to get down for a 4-9 carom shot. And there's a big area there. There's a lot of places, as long as you just get past it a little bit, somewhere around the middle diamond. Oh, my.
Oh, that was lucky. Melling, I think, at the moment, has got a mental block when it comes to potting to the side. He's missing an awful lot of balls. Just didn't fancy him for that one.
Yeah, on the cue ball, made you think there was a lot of angle to get down there, and I don't think there was quite as much as we thought at first. And has he got a little piece of this 3? It appears so.
Attention, please.
Is that to run? Oh, and run it did. What Jason's looking at there is if he can knock this long one in and hold the cue ball, it'll offer an angle on the 4 to possibly break out the 5-8, or maybe get behind the 5-8 for some type of safety play. It's been so good with the jump cue this match, I'll tell you.
Can Spain step in and go ahead for the first time since 1-0?
And something tells me that maybe they weren't listening to Great Britain as far as the carom shot on the 9. It looks like it's laying nice right where David Alcaide is pointing his cue. Just a little flick off the 4. 9 ball goes into the corner. Ooh, he went a long ways. Now he's got a draw off the 4. So not quite as natural. You want to just be able to hit it real natural with a rolling cue ball. Still should be okay. I'm saying still should be the favorite to make it.
There it goes. Spain indeed do reclaim the lead. Spain 6, Great Britain 5.
Welcome back to the World Cup of Pool from the Morningside Arena in Leicester, where Spain have just taken the lead in a very tight match with Great Britain A. At stake, the last remaining place in the semi-finals. This is now the 12th rack. Commentary from Phil Yates and Jeremy Jones.
Rack number 12. We are currently at 6-5 Spain, and Spain is breaking.
Yeah, and again, Spain get a little bit more of that cluster around the spot area, around the rack area. So that tells me that, well, that was pretty head-on cut. That wasn't much cut at all. Maybe getting a little too much elevation with the cue. Sends the cue ball in the air a little bit more and doesn't quite get as flush a contact on the 1 ball.
Great Britain, your option.
Looks crazy, the 2 off the 5 by the 4 in the corner, opening up the 3, but they played a similar shot in round 2. Now, what I like is shooting the 2 into the edge of the 3, and I think trying to drop the cue ball behind the 4. It lays okay, just a little bit of right English. It's delicate, of course. Now you can play it a little more simply and just bank the 2 back up table and come 1 rail over behind the 8.
Extension, please.
And the reason why they took the time here, I don't think they were ever going to pass this shot. I don't think so, anyways. Okay, so this tells me he may be queuing up, powering up here to draw the ball to the side rail and break out the 3-5 coming back across. Big shot for Chris Milling in Great Britain. He overcut it and he lost the cue ball.
Foul. Table scratch.
And just mishitting the cue ball with the timing a little bit off.
Start the clock, please.
And that is the 5th foul committed by Great Britain in this match. Spain have committed 0.
Extension, please.
Definitely a lot of conversation over this ball in hand shot. Not the easiest of combinations. Of course, with ball in hand, you'd like to think you're making it like 9 out of 10. He could fluke something else in also. Now, I guess he's going to play it nice and soft and bury the cue ball behind the 3. Oh, wow. He went in and shot it.
We have the first 2-frame gap of the match, and it goes to the visitors, Spain. They're full of energy, they're full of motivation, and they're 2 racks away from the semi-finals. These foul shots just hurting GB so much. The milling shoulder slump. As soon as the cue ball went in, he feared the worst with every justification.
Yeah, Chris just losing that cue ball because he overcut the 2 a little bit, so didn't get quite as much grab on the cue ball coming back across trying to open the 3-5, and you could tell he was a foot below that. So a difficult situation right now for Great Britain. One upside is they have Jason breaking. So it's a little bit of an now or never. They can't afford to drop to 8-5, even though they would have 3 out of the remaining.
Rack number 13, the current score is 7-5 in favor
they would
of
have just
Spain.
2 out of the
Great
remaining
Britain
4
is
breaks.
breaking.
But just would seem like a lead they can't overcome.
The break is dry. Everything conspiring against the host nation.
Well, if they can get it at all this one ball, they have a nice safety just banking the 1 around and pinch the cue ball back behind the 8. They don't want the 1 to hit the 2, though. They'd like to get the 1 down table. The thing is here, you want the cue ball moving slowly. When it draws back, you don't want it to have a lot of speed. It just kind of slowly goes into position.
Extension, please.
Oh, that's a little light. That's way light. And if he could clear the 2, there was no reason to ever end up light on that shot there unless he worried about losing the cue ball. But I don't think that was a problem. But half the battle on that safety was sending the 1 around, and then it's a very easy way to get a snooker with the 8 ball being a big
Extension,
eclipse
please.
if the 1's on the other half of the table. That's a difficult one to plan there, Phil. A little bit of fortune I'd have to bet.
I think they're due some, in fairness.
Well, yeah, that was a tough situation regardless. Now Spain just doing everything right. A big shot here from David Alcaide on a long 2 ball that he's got to have a little touch with. He could stun it forward, but you really want to drag this ball or roll it, one of the 2. Yeah, and I don't understand that at all. He needed to go forward with the cue ball, and I just don't think, I think his nerves got to him a little bit there, Phil, like he didn't want to hit the ball softly.
Could not agree with you more. Just physically unable to deliver as he wanted to, as he needed to.
And now creating a lot more cue ball movement. Yeah, and that was all caused by a little bit of a decision made by David. They both looked a little jumpy, but a couple early misses by David certainly didn't boast the confidence much.
If you recall their first two matches, they beat Australia 7-5, Finland by the same score. In both contests, they didn't exactly overwhelm in terms of the standard they produced, and yet they keep getting it done.
Well, I'd mentioned it earlier that both teams really had some solid play during both their opening wins, but at times fumbled unexpectedly. Okay, a big thin one here. Oh, he overcut it. He overcut it.
And now the balls are there for Spain. The crowd silent.
Just the draw stroke away from getting on the hill here. 4 to the 5. Something that Ruiz works on every day.
We talked about David Alcaide looking a little nervous. It's entirely understandable when you think about the big picture. Apart from the $60,000 first prize, which will be split between the two of them if they were to win this, apart from the prestige of taking the World Cup home to Spain, which clearly means an awful lot. Remember, he's already the World Masters champion this year. If he was to be one half of the World Cup winning team, that Mosconi Cup would beckon.
Pretty clean stroke there. Oh. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of Euros really interested in that Mosconi Cup next year in Vegas. Or actually, this year in Vegas.
Just 5 months away. You can't keep hold of that trophy, Jeremy. I know you want to, but the renewal will come around quicker than you think. And what's come around for Great Britain quicker than they thought is an 8-5 deficit. Britain and World Cup
14.
disappointment is nothing new.
8-5
They can still pull this out of the fire, Jason Shaw and Chris Milling.
And they are on the hill.
But as our referees just told us, Spain are on the hill, 8-5 ahead, one rack away from reaching the semi-finals of this BetVictor World Cup of Pool for the first time. But the one ball doesn't drop. Nothing drops.
Well, we've seen some tough combinations made in big settings. None bigger than Shane Van Boning's combination to win the Mosconi this last December. But I'll tell you, the way the balls are laying, I'm not sure with the 5 if it goes by the 6. The 2 is a little congested. It'd be a stretch, but if he shoots at it, he could make it. I think it's about 50-50. Wow.
50-50 for Jason Shaw. Sometimes is 90-10. 1-9. Okay, 1 down and 3 to go. rapid rack. Just what the Brits needed to get the crowd going as well. Lovely stuff. Don't write them off just yet. And that's the first rack, Jeremy.
Spain breaks, they have to get by to come back and win this match. And not only that, they have to hold their own. They have 2 out of the next 3 breaks if it goes to the hill. And the crowd's
Credit to this, yeah.
doing all they can to inspire this Great Britain team. 3 more to advance to the semifinal.
Rack number 15. The current score is 8-6 in favor of Spain. Great Britain breaking.
Living dangerously. But the 8's in. The table is open. Should I say the 7's in?
He needs the cue ball to run a little bit. It's not bad from where he was. He would take that, I think. Well, Spain's got to be careful if they knock this 1 around. You can see the 8 hanging. And so anytime there's a ball on one end of the table hanging and you're sending the ball around for safety, there's a lot more options for the incoming team, meaning some type of carom shot combination, even a fluke.
Extension, please.
Yes, the first mistake in this rack could be the last mistake. Should be the last mistake. The way they spread.
Okay, he's leveling out, so that tells me he might be banking the 1 down table, trying to come back up on the 3. Oh no, pretty nice. Is this going to leak out? Oh, pretty solid shot there. So Chris has got a real decision to make how he wants to kick at this. He can kick to the side rail. Kind of my preference where Jason was pointing. I know if he kicks up under, you would think that's the best shot. But the 1's a long ways from the end rail. So when you have that situation, it's real hard to hold the cue ball.
Extension, please.
I thought he might look at that side rail to try and kick and stick the cue ball and send the 1 back up table. Possibility of a scratch if you shoot that shot. It's been pretty good at this so far, but this one's a little more difficult. Don't baby it. You need some speed on it. This is going to catch the 5, and it was. You notice the cue ball coming up table. Just real hard to hold the cue ball once the 1 gets up a diamond or so.
You have to seriously wonder, is it going to be Viva España? Is Alcaide? Is Sanchez Ruiz in to win?
Well, he's hit that perfectly, and it's really about 2 more shots, it looks like. Of course, knocking this 2 in, but gaining some type of good position on the 3 to get to the 4 down here on the bottom rail. The sweet thing is you don't have to get great position on the 4. Again, you can see the 8 hanging. Well, he doesn't want to get full here. This is pretty heavy. If he can't draw by this 5, this could be a little tester. But again, you don't have to get all the way down there. You have a 4-8. That's very easy combination. Yeah. Okay. So now this will be an interesting shot because the 6 is there. I'm trying to figure. I guess you just chip this in and go 1 rail right into the 9 with the cue ball. Pretty sure you're not going to make them both. But the thing is, you can't really afford to play rail first and let the 4 get locked up on the 6. Yeah, nice shot.
the host nation in this World Cup, 4 pots away from elimination. Nearly there. Palms sweaty, heart beating. Alcaide hopes his work for the evening is done. Unlike last year in China, there will be no home winner of the World Cup of pool, and the reason for that, Spain have broken British hearts.
The semi-final lineup is now confirmed, and Spain's reward for that excellent win over Great Britain A is a date with last year's runners-up, Austria. In the other semi-final, the Netherlands will take on the Philippines in a bid to claim their first ever World Cup of Pool title.